Hey guys, it's me Suja over here. Welcome back to another video. So I thought of making this video from the comfort of my kitchen, from where I started my YouTube career out here in Vietnam. So on this video, I'm going to be talking about my pros and cons of living in Vietnam as an Indian. Much requested video, which I got from actually with a couple of my subscribers. They keep on emailing me. So yeah, I thought of just sharing the pros and cons of living in Vietnam as an Indian. I've been living out here in Vietnam for over 7 years. I think over 7.5 years. I think nearing 8 years now. And yeah, I was an English teacher before in Vietnam for over 4.5 years in Saigon. Then I started my online digital marketing venture, and I'm also a full-time YouTuber. So if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, just hit the subscribe button, and that way you can support my content. Much appreciated, right? So yeah, it's morning. I'm here at the countryside as usual, just having a bit of my morning black coffee. Yeah, some of you guys asked me like, what happened to your accent? Why don't you have a heavy Indian accent? Well, I did my college from the States. I was in Europe for many years. I did my schooling in Europe for many years. Anyways, I'm pretty international, right? Okay. Besides, my family lives in America. Okay. All right. So let's just go with the. So I presume you're an Indian watching this. So basically, I'm going to be sharing from my personal experience. I'm not sharing it as a tourist or as a traveler. Like I said, I've been living out here for many years now, so I'm just going to be breaking it down for you, right? So let's go with the pros. Okay, let me do the dance for the pros. All right, the pros. Okay. So yeah, I was in India for 5 months. I just came back to Vietnam. Honestly, I think Vietnam is more affordable for me. In terms of food, transportation, and I think even rent. Um, I mean, India is expensive. I found it to be expensive, like going out, eating out. So yeah, I think some motorbike guys are there. Yeah, I found India to be expensive compared to Vietnam, definitely. So yeah, Vietnam is quite affordable. Like I can get food out here for less than $1. I can buy a banh mi, which is a baguette, and I can get a lot of food. Yeah, someone's sweeping outside. There are always people around me. Yeah. All right. So the second one would be, yeah. So it's quite affordable. I find it very affordable living out here. Very reasonable compared to India. India is expensive, right? Okay. The second one would be food. I think Vietnamese food is very healthy compared to Indian food. Don't get me wrong, I love Indian food, but my 5 month stay in India, I was always eating Indian food, and of course, sometimes I would be ordering pizzas, eating subways and all that. But I think Indian food is a bit heavy for me. Vietnamese food is quite healthy, and you don't have much of oil. I dislike food which has got oil, but surprisingly Vietnamese food, it's very healthy, very less oil, and that's what I love because I like to. I'm in my 40s. I like to live a healthy lifestyle. So I love Vietnamese food. I love pho. I love all different kinds of Vietnamese dishes. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of some Indians saying they don't like Vietnamese food, they don't like the pho and all that. I love Vietnamese food. I'm sorry, I love Vietnamese food. I love Thai food. I love Indian food. Maybe because I have different taste buds, and of course, I eat different sorts of meat. So I'm not a vegetarian. So I think maybe that would be one reason. I don't know. I love it. The third one would be, I think the public transportation and infrastructure in Vietnam is much better compared to in my city in India. Okay, now I'm not saying about all of India, but I think where I was staying, definitely hands down, the infrastructure out here in Vietnam is much better. After I came back from my 5 month stay, um, I just had a complete 360-degree narrative of the infrastructure out here. So yeah, definitely infrastructure in Vietnam is good. You don't find broken roads or a lot of potholes, and of course, a lot of beautiful lights, and of course, the cleanliness. The cleanliness would be the fourth point. I think Vietnam is far cleaner um, compared to in India. Of course, there's a lot of trash problem out here, but in general, I think Vietnam is definitely cleaner. I mean, I'm not saying about all parts of, like, if I go to Saigon, I'm not saying all of Saigon is very clean, but definitely, like if I go to District 7, or if I go to other locations like what's in my eye? Oh my God, like Tao Dien and all those other places. So definitely much cleaner. So yeah, the cleanliness factor is there, and I do see a lot of people brooming around in the morning. Even I'm staying out here in the countryside. Like maybe I've been living out here in the countryside for over, I think, 2.5 years now. Yeah, so I like to live around the nature. I have some underlying conditions with my I have some, so like I have a sensitive lung, so I like to breathe clean air. So yeah, so the cleanliness is there. Um, the fourth one would be definitely Vietnam. I think um, is a very safe country. Yeah, I mean, I find Vietnam to be much safer compared to what I experienced in India. Don't get me wrong, India is definitely a very big country, and a lot of people, a lot of population. But I think Vietnam is much safer. Besides some petty thefts, chain snatching, or pickpocketing and all that, and even some scams, which you'll also find in India. But I think it's relatively very safe. No issues whatsoever. Because unlike in India, where like it's kind of sometimes dangerous. Like you don't have gun laws in India. Like everybody's like you have gangsters in India. They have guns and everything. Here you have gun laws in Vietnam, so you're not allowed to carry firearms. So yeah, that way it's very safe. As long as you're not budging, or as long as you're not creating problems for others, I think it's pretty safe. Nobody will come and do anything to you. Yeah, it's a safe city. Yeah. So that was the fourth point. So the fifth one, a lot of barking dogs. Yeah. I'm here at the countryside. It's always noisy with hens, ducks, and cows. Sorry, hens, ducks, and dogs. Yeah, barking. Yeah, the fifth one would be, I think it's a very budget-friendly country for Indian travelers coming to Vietnam. Like if you're going to other parts of Vietnam, maybe if you're going to Da Nang, Vung Tau, Mui Ne, Sapa, Hoi An, even Hanoi. So I think it's a very budget-friendly country. It's not going to hurt your wallet a lot, right? Thailand, I think I found Bangkok to be very expensive, but I know other parts of Thailand are reasonable, which I would love to explore. But I mean, compared to Goa, which is a shit show right now, and which is very expensive, and I've seen a couple of these YouTube videos of locals in Goa trying to create problems with tourists coming over, Indian tourists from other states or whatever. I think Vietnam is definitely a very budget friendly country, and of course you'll get the value for money, right? I mean, I'm not comparing it right away with Thailand, because of course Thailand is the top is the gold standard, definitely. But I think Vietnam ranks the second spot when it comes to budget friendly for country destination for Indian travelers, right? So yeah, now I'm going to be talking about the cons, and so this is where I'm going to get a bit of heat from a couple of my audiences out here. But yeah, I mean, everything cannot be, life is not a bed of roses, but I got to also talk about the cons. So of living out here in Vietnam for nearly 8 years now. So yeah, so let me do the cons dance. Okay. um, all right, so this is from my personal experience, not scripted or anything, not from the internet and all that BS, whatever. Because my channel is straight up no BS. I like to talk, speak my mind, and also share my personal experiences in Southeast Asia. So number one would be lack of opportunities. Um, you know, if you are an Indian, I mean, let's first talk about English teaching, right? Still, a majority of English teaching jobs are given to foreigners coming from native countries like U.S., UK, Canada, South Africa, and of course Filipinos. They have that pilot teaching program, but of course the salaries are a bit lower. But for Indian teachers who want to teach English in Vietnam, and I get this quite frequently on my email, on my inbox, yes, you can get an English teaching job in Vietnam, but don't expect to get it in a major city like Ho Chi Minh or in Hanoi. Hanoi is going to be difficult for you. You can try to get English teaching jobs in remote cities in Vietnam or satellite cities across major cities in Vietnam, like satellite cities around Hanoi, satellite cities around Saigon. Like maybe you can get try out Bin Dung, um, Haiphong up in the north. So, and of course you have Kanto and all those places. Now these are basically emerging. These are all satellite cities. Of course, yes, there are a lot of English. There are also, small time English centers which are looking for foreign teachers, and they have hard time finding native teachers. So that's where you, as a non-native teacher, can fill in the position, provided you have a neutral American neutral English accent, and and of course you need a degree, and you need a teaching certificate, right? So, and of course, apart from English, because I my golden days of English teaching were back in, what is that noise coming around? I don't know. Was back around in 2016, 2017, 2018, or maybe someone's doing karaoke. I don't know. Okay, let's carry on, right? So, apart from that, I think if you are into any marketing field like IT, you can get some opportunities out here. Hold on a second, guys. I want to explore. I want to see what's the problem. Oh, fucking hell. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So, yeah, you can look into that. Yeah. So, this for the English teaching, I'm giving you heads up, right? Um, the second con would be definitely, I do find, yeah, there's a lot of white privilege out here in Vietnam. I'm not ashamed to say that, but yes, if you're not a white skinned foreigner, um, you would be encountering some form of discrimination. Especially if you're hanging around in tourist locations in Vietnam, like if you're going to District 1 in Saigon, which is the touristy spot. So there are a lot of white tourists, right? So definitely white privilege is worshipped a lot out here in Vietnam. So definitely, as an Indian, I have encountered racism out here as well in Vietnam and discrimination. Um, it still kind of exists, but yes, there's a lot of white privilege is worshipped a lot. It's very easy for a white foreigner to get an English teaching job out here in Vietnam, even without a degree, um, overcoming all the obstacles and frictions. So yeah, that's the reality. I mean, that's the reality out here in Vietnam. And I hope it kind of changes a bit. Anyways, the third one, the cons would be the traffic. Definitely, I mean, there's a lot of many two wheelers out here, pretty congested. Like it's like crazy, but I would say it's more chaotic traffic, but more chaotic organized traffic, right? So, but a lot of traffic in Vietnam. The fourth con, which I have a really, which I actually have, like the underlying condition is due to the pollution in Vietnam. Because before I used to live in Ho Chi Minh City for many years, the pollution level was really high, and of course, lately, if you check the news, Hanoi is ranked is ranked the top right now for the most polluted city in the world or in Asia. I don't know, but I checked out that news. So yeah, there's a lot of pollution problem. I'm always wearing the mask, and of course, the pollution is always very like small particles. So I'm always wearing the mask, because the pollution level is definitely high, but which you cannot see. So I would call it as the invisible pollution out here in Vietnam, right? The fifth con would be definitely the cultural difference. Vietnam is definitely very culturally different compared to in India. It's a wrong misconception that, all Asian countries, like, we are sharing the same, India and Vietnam and Thailand, we have the same culture. It's wrong. It's the culturally they are very different. The society is very different. The mindset of the Vietnamese people are very different compared to the mindset of an Indian. So yeah, there's a lot of cultural difference, and you would experience that when you come out here to Vietnam. So yeah, the sixth one would be definitely customer service. Honestly speaking, the customer service sucks out here in Vietnam. Most of the time, if I'm going to a coffee shop, or if I want to, or even if I'm taking a ride sharing app like Grab or whatever, it's sometimes, the service which you get is really bad. They come with, they're kind of rude to me, not polite, not friendly. They treat you like shit sometimes. So yeah, the customer service, maybe the customers, I would say lack of education, lack of training. So I've been told not most Vietnamese are educated people. So I think maybe it's the lack of awareness, lack of education, or lack of training. So yeah, the customer service is not the best. Unlike in Thailand, if I'm going to a coffee shop, or if I'm using Grab or anything out there, if I'm going to a shopping mall or something, I always get treated properly, and they'll always greet me, like Sawadee Cup and all that stuff. Yeah, so the customer service sucks. And of course, the final one is definitely there is a big racism problem out here in Vietnam. I'm still 2025. Like I said, if you are not a white person, and if you have brown skin, and if you're an Indian, I've heard, like many, couple of Indian tourists not being treated properly out here in Vietnam, treated like discriminated. I would say lack of education. Not all Vietnamese people are educated. So yes, there is a racism problem out here in Vietnam. Still a lot of white privilege is being worshipped out here in Vietnam. Most Vietnamese people, they don't like the sun. They want to have white skin. And of course, they feel that if a foreigner has brown skin, then he's kind of working out in the fields or and I think they don't have much of knowledge about India because it's just that when it comes to India, most Vietnamese only think about yoga, curry, and um, that's it, not much, and of course, not much of favorable YouTube content when you are typing the word Ando, which is India in Vietnamese. You'll see a lot of negative YouTube content out there on the YouTube platform about India. Uh, but anyways, that's all I got to say. So I hope you found this video to be informational. If you like watching this video, make sure to like the video and all the good stuff. If you found this video to be insightful, you can always buy me a coffee. The link is down in the description below. And if you want to support my content, you can always pick up a Sujoy in Vietnam t-shirt or a hoodie. You can check out my store. So with that being said, you guys have a great day. This was me, Sujoy. Peace out.